Hi everyone, it's Scott Blumstein, Mr. Ramrod 2017. I'm with my friend Aechus. Is it Pup Aechus? Pup Aechus.
Pup Aechus.
And we are in St. Pete at the Florida Leather Sir Leather Boy Community Bootback Contest. And I wanted to sit and talk and do a video with Pup Aechus because we did a video with Pup Rocket and we talked about so many different things that after we watched the video we left some things out. But before we get to that,
cleanup duty.
You're a title holder for the Florida Leather Sir. Florida Leather and Fetish Pride contest, and that contest is not any longer, and so you're in the middle of your title year, and what does that mean for you personally and for your title?
So first to clarify, it's the Florida Leather and Fetish Pride Critter 2019 is the title. It's the first time we've had a title that's for pet play that is not species specific. Puppies have a lot of representation, ponies have a lot of representation, but people who are kitties or foxes or that sort of thing don't. So we created a critter title to be a little bit more inclusive and a little bit more open. And I started my title year saying that my goal was to bring representation and acknowledgement and visibility to those other critters and to encourage other critters to participate in the running for a title kind of process, because that's so integral to what the leather community expects and how the leather community views different parts of the population, right? So I wanted the critters to have that representation. Halfway through the year, with the announcement that the next year's contest was not going to happen, it basically just means I've got a course correction to do. So the work that I did the first half of the year was all talking to critters, at least in the Florida community, because, you know, it's a Florida title, so I didn't have to worry too much outside. Start small, work from there, right? So I was talking to the critters themselves. Now I'm going to be talking to producers, trying to encourage producers to make a critter title if it fits within what they already do for their contest or their production or whatnot, or to see if there are other producers around who would be interested in creating a critter title of their own. Because this is the kind of thing that I don't think needs to be one of a kind. It's something that we should have multiple critter titles. I'll throw this out there. I know this is going on Facebook. I hear rumors that some titles are not going to be as species specific in the future as they are now. So this might be like the beginning of a few changes, and we might be seeing pet play being more respected, more represented, and more thoroughly covered than what it is now.
That's interesting for you as in the grand scheme of things, but for friends of mine or people in the community that aren't that familiar with puppy play or critter play or what is it sexual? Is it playful? Is it for you personally? Because you can't speak for everyone, you know, in the broad sense, but for most people. How did you get exposed to it, and how did you know that this is that it felt in your soul that it was the right thing for you, or that this is me? Yeah.
So you just asked me about 4 questions.
Yeah,
It's going to take me a minute. No, it's fine. I mean, there's a lot to go through there. So your first couple of questions were: is it sexual? Is it whatever? Like, what is pet play?
For you, because we don't want to generalize.
But I think we can generalize. To be honest with you. If you're familiar with the puppy community, one of our rules is basically puppy is what you make it, and there really are no hard and fast rules for puppy, except pet play is all about getting into headspace of a particular animal that you affiliate with. Somehow, like, you feel like you might be a puppy, you feel like you identify with a fox, that sort of thing, and nobody can tell you what you feel like. It's just that's all
it's
you,
innate.
right?
It's you.
Exactly.
It's in your soul.
And how you express that animal is all you. So that's where we get into the variability, and I can't speak for everybody. But pet play at its core is I want to inhabit the headspace of that creature that I associate with. So for me, I like getting down on all fours, crawling around, and being playful and silly like a puppy is. Other people, it's the getting down on all fours and being more subservient. The degradation is a thing for a lot of folks. Other people, the getting down on all fours and crawling around isn't even a part of it. It's just presenting or being a part of a community, because puppy is so freaking popular right now. So many people are in this community. But at its heart, it is that headspace. And I would be remiss if I didn't do a little side note here. Because pet play is all about escapism, it's very attractive to people who are going through things mentally, who are struggling with something, and they just need to get away for a bit. It's a much safer way to escape from problems than drugs, alcohol, moving, that sort of thing, right? So the puppy community, the pet play community as a whole, has a really high prevalence of folks suffering with mental illness, with depression, that sort of thing.
Anxiety,
exactly.
Right, social inaptitude.
So the community can be there as a resource to help those folks, to support them, to give them the attention and affection they need, the support they need to get through whatever it is that they're struggling with. So the human side is a thing that we do need to acknowledge as well. So for me, you did ask, like, is it sexual, is it playful? As a puppy, I am asexual. I've had someone come up behind me and try to start mounting me. I literally got confused and had to crawl away. I've had to rip my hood off to get me out of headspace when I was trying to engage in something because the puppy side of me doesn't process sex. As a puppy, like, I am prepubescent. Puppies are not adult dogs, right? So that's how I see it. I'm a playful little puppy who just scampers around, and sex doesn't cross my radar.
Others
are different though.
Is there an age? Like, is a puppy an age? Anyone can be a pup or a puppy.
Anyone can be a puppy.
Any age, old, young. It's just put the mask on, get into the headspace.
Mask is optional.
It's
get into the headspace. It's do that creature how you feel like doing that creature. And I would say it's any age, even before you get into the leather community. A lot of folks who are into puppy play will tell you that they should have known that they were a puppy when they were a little kid. Or we'll go to Pride sometimes wearing our hoods, and the kids love it because they understand that we are just playing make-believe. We are pretending to be dogs. And they get it because it's fun and it's that escape, right? So any age can be into puppy play, even if they don't know it's actually puppy play. They're still they're young. They'll get there.
And so the last time I did a video with Pup Rocket, we didn't talk about collars or dog tags or tails. Can we talk about protocol and procedure when you see a puppy? Does it mean if they have a collar that they're collared or?
Sure. So if you see a puppy out in public, the best rule of thumb is treat them as much like a real canine as you can, and that will basically solve all of your problems. Like, if you're not sure how to interact, ask yourself, what would I do if this were an actual dog in front of me? And that will probably guide you appropriately. So if there's an actual canine in front of you, you're not going to walk up and give it a hug because you don't know if it's going to bite. You're going to introduce yourself to it first. You're going to do that very gently, right? If a dog has a collar on, you know it belongs to somebody, and you're going to be really careful about how you approach it. You're going to look around first and see, is the human there?
Is there someone there?
So the same exact thing applies in a bar. So if you see a puppy with a hood on, approach that puppy as you would a dog, and introduce yourself and approach gently and make sure you have consent, all that jazz. If the puppy has a collar on, that puppy is owned by someone, probably. There are exceptions. That dog is probably owned by somebody, so look around, find the human, and ask the human, hey, can I meet your dog? Can I pet your dog? Whatever it is. Whatever you want to do, seek consent. And if there is no human nearby, like you would do with a real dog, look at the dog. Do you have an owner? Where is your owner? Right? Like simple yes, no questions or that sort of thing. A puppy can process even when we're in headspace. With an important point to make here, with a real dog, you would never walk up to that dog and yank on the dog's tail. Please don't walk up to a puppy and yank on a puppy's tail.
They hate that.
It's annoying as hell, and sometimes those tails are insertable, and you might be yanking out more than you expected, and that nobody needs that. So just don't.
And so the dog tags too. Does that mean that they're collared, or is that just a name, or is that just part of the puppy uniform?
So this is going to be another one of those, it is what you make of it, so it's going to be different for different folks. Usually these dog tags are used to say what our pup name is. Makes it a lot easier when we're trying to meet people. So it's like we have got our name tags built in. If there's a lock, that means that they are owned by somebody. Sometimes that means they are owned by themselves. Some pups will self-collar and self-lock, just as a matter of, just as a way of saying,
I'm off limits,
or I don't need that.
I'm not on the market.
Exactly. So it's an extra level of defense. In this particular case, so I'm not a collared puppy. I am a proud stray. I too headstrong for my own good, and I don't look for handler and that sort of thing. Not that there's anything wrong with them. It's not for me, right? This is the shoot. I never remember the name when I need to. It's the
collar.
I was gonna say, yeah, you can read it better than I can. It's the Best in Show award.
Bill Trooper Boyd Memorial Award.
The Bill Trooper Boyd Memorial Best in Show Award for International Puppy Contest. It's the only collar I've ever worn. It's the only collar I plan to ever wear. Because as far as I'm concerned, this was given to me by the puppy community, and I've been collared by the community. I'm okay with that.
Sweet.
Being collared by a person, that's not my thing. So I'll wear this.
So what about resources for someone that's interested? I know that there's lots of vendors and companies that sell puppy hoods, like Mr. S and Leatherworks and at IML and MAL. But what about someone that's interested? Are there YouTube channels or websites or people that they could look up or Google?
Yeah, so I think that Pup Rocket mentioned pupplay.info on his video, and I would have said the same thing, and I just did. So that's a good place to go to get started. Whatever platform you use, whatever social connections you use, just searching for human puppy play, you'll find what you need.
And what about for your contest? Are producers open to having Critter title holders?
Yeah.
And where do you expect to be in like 2 years or a year and a half from now with this project?
Honestly, I will probably be sitting on some judging panel somewhere.
That's great.
I'm not in a position to be able to take on a producer, a show to produce, but I want to be involved in that process, and I want to help people build their own Critter titles. So I will be perfectly comfortable sitting back, letting other people run the show, but be happy to help and see this spread a little more than it is right now.
Anything more that you want to add or enlighten us about puppy play or pet or critter play?
I think you've asked all the good ones. We're all set.
Well, I judged you, and it was an honor and it was a privilege at the contest, and I have a warm spot in my heart for all of the contestants at that contest, and I'm really sad that contest is not going to be in existence. I want to give a shout out to Brenda. We love you, we miss you, we care about you, and I'm Scott Blumstein, Mr. Ramrod 2017. This is Pup Aechus. I want to thank Randy and look forward to the rest of the weekend at Florida Leather Sarah Leather Boy Community Boot Black Contest in St. Pete. Thank you, everyone.